Doo-doo-doo-doo. What's up, people? I'm back. Hope you're doing alright. Today we're going to move on to some new ground, heading some new territory. Sleigh's going to take us over into a new part of the woods. So we're going to start probability number 1 today. Take a little break off that equation stuff. So, are you ready? I hope you are. Let me pause this. If you know the name of that tune, you can send it to me later. Okay, here we go. Alright, so there's so much stuff to talk about in the probability world. I really don't know exactly where to start with you, but I'll start here. Alright. So we're going to start out with the chance chart. Okay. So it kind of looks a little something like this. I'm going to write it down and kind of go over it with you. Okay. But at one end, okay, you got 0% chance of something happening. And at the other end, you got 100% chance of something happening. Of course, between 0 and 100 is 50% chance of something happening. And then, of course, we would have our 25 and our 75, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to break these down and give you some different words, but I'm going to kind of talk about some words and some things that kind of go along with each one of them. So 0% is known as impossible. Okay, and if it's 100% going to happen, okay, that means it's certain. Then if it's, in the middle, kind of like, 50-50, it's called as likely as not. Then if you're at the 25% mark there, that's known as unlikely. And 75%, of course, would be likely. Now, the fractions that go with that, of course, would be 0 out of something for that. 25%, of course, is 1/4. As likely as not would, of course, be a half. Likely, of course, 75% would be 3/4. Certain would be, of course, like 1/1 or 4/4 or something like that. It's going to give you 100%. So there's the chance chart. Okay, so everything in the probability world is going to fall somewhere between 0 and 100% happening. Okay, it's either impossible or it's certain. Most of the time, of course, it's more in this vicinity. Sometimes it may be a little closer to one end or the other. And of course, if it's 50-50, okay, as likely as not. Okay, so there is the chance chart. You may see some of that stuff on Freckle. If you got some decimals, 0.25 down here would be less likely than 0.75 here. Okay, 0.75 is going to be a lot more likely happening than 0.25. Of course, this would be 0.5. Okay, so the smaller the decimal, okay, the less likely it is to happen. The higher the decimal, the more likely it is to happen. So if you had something like that was 0.9, okay, that would be up in here. It's getting pretty close to being certain. That'd be like a 90% chance of happening. Versus if you had a 0.2 down here, okay, not very likely to happen. I mean, it might still happen, but not very likely. Okay, now there's the chance chart. Hope you got that. Now, most of the stuff we're going to be talking about today is called theoretical probability. And we'll talk more about the other option, which is experimental probability, a few lessons down the line. Okay, but theoretical probability is what we think should happen. Okay, what we think should happen. Okay, now of course theoretical is before the experiment. Okay, so we think, hey, I got a coin, I'm going to flip it 10 times. I think I should get 5 heads and 5 tails. Okay, that's the theoretical probability, right? If you got a coin, you got 50-50 chance. So as likely as not of flipping a head as versus flipping a tail. So if you flip it 10 times, theoretically you should get 5 heads and 5 tails. When you actually experiment, okay, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but I am going to write it down. Okay, experimental probability, that's when you actually get some results. Okay, and that is going to have a little bit different probability when you do the activity and get real results. Okay, so there's a difference between theoretical. Okay, this is happening in your mind, right? Theory. All right, experimental is when you actually do something. Okay, when you actually throw the dice, you flip the coin, you spin the spinner. Okay, so this is action. So theoretical is what you think would happen. Experiments what you actually do, and you get some real test results. Okay, we're not really going to be doing any of that for a couple days yet, but we will. Okay, we will. That's one reason I like doing probability so much, because we get to do some of this stuff. And even you people are at home, I'll show you some things you can do at home to make you some stuff and work, even though you won't have the stuff at school that I've got. We can still get you some stuff, and you can make you some homemade probability tester outers. All right, now today I'm going to have you do a couple different little things. Okay, you probably think I'm crazy because I'm giving you 2 assignments, but they're not really that long, especially this first one is really fast. So this first one right here, okay, if you look at it, you've got all these little spinners, and you got these little cards, and then we got some word problems down here, and then we're going to talk about this one. Okay, it's got some couple different spinners, and then this has got a spinner and a dice, and this has got some marbles in a bag. Okay, so just a couple different things, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how to do all that. All right, are you ready? So probability number 4 is the likelihood an event will occur, the total
possible outcomes. Okay, so we're going to be writing these as a fraction. Okay, that's the likelihood an event will occur out of the total possible outcomes. So I'm going to look at this one here first on this little page. Alright, and we'll talk about a couple of these, just do a couple together, and you'll see how easy this page is. It might take you 5 minutes to do this, 10 at the most, if you're Snapchatting. Or maybe you got to do a couple TikToks here and there and get your body moving. That's alright. So if we look over here, we got red, blue, yellow, white, green. Okay, red, blue, yellow, white, green. We got 5 different options here. Okay, so there are 5 outcomes. It says, what's the probability of red? Well, how many of them are red? 1, right? So that'd be 1/5. And then you go up there to the top there, you see you got answers up there, and I believe you scratch out your 1/5 right there. Okay. All right. Now let's do one. Let's go to one that says not yellow. Well, over here, how many of these are not yellow? Well, that's the only one that is yellow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 5 not yellow. All right. And you can see up there's a 4/5. So you go up there and mark her out. Let's go down and do a couple of these that got the cards on it. Okay. So we got one that says white. Probability of white. There are 4 white ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 out of 8. Now, anytime you got a probability that can be simplified, you need to reduce it. So 4/8, of course, would simplify down to 1/2. And if you look up there at the top, you can see there's a 1/2 right there. We'll scratch that joker out. All right, let's do one more of those. Not white. Not white. Well, that's good. That's the opposite of white, of course. So, not white. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/8. So that'd be a half again. Oh, I believe I'm telling y'all to do this wrong. I'm telling y'all wrong. Alright, I just made a boo-boo. Alright, what you're supposed to do is you'll take your little numbers down here. So let's go back. For number 1, we got 1/5, and that's letter T. So that means you come down here to the bottom and you put in the letter T down there for number 1. Sorry about that. That's a sickness catching up with the old man. Alright. Number 4, we got 4/5. That's the letter I. Okay. So that means in number 4, we'll put the letter I down here. Alright. For number 8, we got a half. And for number 14, we got a half. And so for a half, you can see it's letter A right there. So we'll put in an A for 8 and 14. A for 8. A for 14. Okay. So that's how that works. Alright, let's do one more. Let's go down to number 20 down here. Okay.
A class of 25 students has 15 girls and 10 boys. If one student is chosen at random, what is the probability it is a girl? Alright, so there are 15 girls out of how many? 25 students. So that's the number of girls out of the total possible people in the class. Of course, you can simplify that down. They're both divisible by 5. And then that would take you down to 3/5. Alright, let's see what goes up there with 3/5. 3/5 is the letter N. So that means for number 20, I'd put in letter N right there. Okay, so this page is not going to be too hard. Just some simple probability stuff. Remember, again, it's the likelihood the event will occur out of total possible outcomes. Alright, so there's that one. Now, this other one is what I was thinking about marking out the answers. Okay, had that on my brain. Alright, so these are called independent events. Okay, so when you got independent events, alright, you're going to have one probability from one item and another probability because they happen separately, but you got to multiply those two together. Okay, so you're going to multiply the two probabilities together, and don't forget to simplify if possible. Alright, got a couple minutes left here. I'll do a few of these with you, and you'll see it's not a hard thing to do. Okay, going to take one little fraction, multiply it by the other little fraction. Okay, one little probability times the other one, then we'll simplify it if we can. Alright, so let's do number 2 right here. It says the probability of white and B. Alright, so on this little spinner right here, the probability of white would be 1 out of 5, so that's 1/5. And then B over here, there's 2 out of the 3 that are B. So you're going to multiply them together. And 1/5 times 2/3, 1 times 2, of course, is 2. 5 times 3 is 15. So then you will go down to the bottom down there. And this is the one where you mark them out. Okay, so down here it says mark out only one of them at a time. Okay, so where's our 2/15ths at? You can see there are 2 of them down here, but only mark out one of them at a time. Okay, just mark out 1 inch. Or you can color it in, shade it in, use your Christmas colors, whatever you want to do, fine by me. Okay. Alright, real fast, got a riddle for you. If you've hung in here with me this long, thank you very much. Here's my friend. Alright, people, today's question of the day, the riddle of the day is, what type of cars do elves prefer to drive? Alright, so if you see an elf driving around somewhere, man, what's he going to be cruising around in? What type of car does he prefer? Send him the question, the answer for what type of cars do elves prefer. Hope you're having a great day, and be safe, people. Until next time, ciao for now. Alright. Now, let's go down here into this one where we got some colors here and the number cube. Alright, I just want you to know that on the number cube, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, even though you can't see all those numbers. And y'all know that. We throw them in class when we're playing our games, our little competitions all the time. Just remember, 1 through 6 on the number cube. Okay? Alright, so let's say we got the probability of not blue here and an odd number over here. Alright, so not blue, that's 1, 2, 3 fourths. 3 fourths are not blue. And then an odd number, well, the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5. So that would be 3 out of 6. I'm going to go ahead and reduce that down to a half. Alright, so we got 1 out of 2 chance of getting an odd number. We got 3 out of 4 chance of getting not blue. If we multiply them together, that's 1, 3. 4 times 2 is 8. So that would be 3/8. Let's see if we got 3/8 down there at the bottom. 3/8. Sure do. There it is. So you scratch it out. That's the only one there is. So that's good. Alright, let's do one of those little marble questions, and I think we'll be good to go. Alright, so let's do not white and striped. Okay, so if you look in the little bag, what's the probability of pulling one that's not white? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. Not white is 4 out of 6. And striped would be 3 out of 6. Okay, so again, if I was doing this problem, I'd go ahead and reduce these down. 4/6 reduces to 2/3. 3/6 reduces to a half. Alright, 2/3 times a half, that'd give me 2/6. But then you can simplify that down because they're both divisible by 2, and I'd take that down to 1/3. Alright, let's make sure we got a 1/3 on here. 1/3, there it is. Okay, go right there and scratch her up. Alright, so you can see how all that works. Alright, folks, that kind of gives you a little combination of a couple different little activities today, nothing super hard. Alright, we talked about the chance chart. Okay, remember all these are going to be somewhere between impossible and certain. And you got 50/50s as likely as not, then you got unlikely is about 25%, likely is 75%, so you got somewhere in there, whatever probability is going to be. Theoretical is what we think. Experiments when we actually do some actions, which will be coming up soon. And don't forget independent events, make sure you multiply them together, and then simplify if possible. Alright, if you got any questions, don't forget to let me know. Send me the name of this here song, and you can send me the answer to that riddle earlier, like them cars the elves drive. Alright, I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you're feeling good, and I'll be with you soon. Adios.